Hello and welcome along to this unboxing, setup and early thoughts on the Philips Hue Starter Kit. This is the warm white kit that comes with a few bulbs, the Hue bridge and some other bits and pieces that we can take a closer look at shortly. Now, for better or worse, my wife and I are both exclusively Apple users, so we're also going to be taking a look at how easy this Philips Hue system is to integrate with HomeKit and Siri. So I picked this kit up from Amazon at the start of June 2020. It cost me just under £70, which I think is very good value for what you get in the box. I've included a link in the description, but there's a few things you should consider before you pull the trigger to make sure you don't buy the wrong thing. There are plain white bulbs like I have here, which offer all the smart bulb features, but don't allow you to control the temperature of the white light. If that's something that you think you're going to need, then you should be looking at what Philips call the ambience light bulbs. Finally, if you want to choose more than just different shades of white, then you need to be looking at the colour bulbs, which are certainly more expensive. The other thing to be aware of is what type of fitting you're going to be putting your bulbs into. The two most common types in the UK are ES or E27, which are the screw-in type like I have here, or bayonet fittings where you push the bulb in and do a half turn. It does seem like Philips cover most options though, so just take a second to check what you have. So for me, because I wanted to add some lighting to our summer house, I was happy to keep things relatively simple to start off and go with warm white, which I think just looks nicer outside. I had no need to go for the colour changing options. The other thing you need is relatively decent wireless coverage around your home. This just helps make sure you don't run into issues with connectivity down the road and have a less than perfect experience. One of the major reasons I started considering smart lights for the summer house was originally I had a single PIR lantern on the left hand side as you look at it, which didn't really work very well, but it did have a permanent live feed with no on-off switch. So the Hue system saved me having to figure out how to run switch wiring. Instead I could just extend that live feed to the two additional lantern positions and then just use the app to control the lights. The other reason was that as the summer house is at the end of the garden, I knew that if we had to actually walk down each evening to turn the lights on and off, then we probably wouldn't bother as it's too much effort. I know that sounds extremely lazy, but I guess that's why smart home technology is so popular right now. Okay, so back to what's in the box. First of all, you get your 3 light bulbs, all very well packaged and secure, and you can tell straight away that the quality is there. It's difficult to say that about a light bulb, but it definitely feels weighty and nice, like it's not going to fall apart in 5 seconds. That goes for all the kit, which is what I was hoping for when you consider the cost versus a standard light bulb. You get a couple of bits of very basic documentation. Nice to see them in the box, but hopefully we won't need those. We're going to put those to one side. Next up is probably the most important component, which is the Hue bridge. Now, this is what lets your bulbs talk to the Hue app and also integrate to HomeKit. Now, obviously, if you're going to be using other smart home assistants that are out there, then they're also supported, and the setup process is going to be very similar. In terms of size, the bridge is about 10 centimeters square and just has a single network port and a single power port. The Philips logo on the front there is actually a button that we'll use later to pair the device. You get a standard 1 meter network cable. I already have a shorter cable which I'll be using, but they always come in handy. Then you have the power adapter. It comes in 2 parts, and you just snap the 3-pin front plate to the main body. Nice and easy, and it seems to line up quite well, so you can't really go wrong here. Philips also include the 2-pin front plate if you needed it outside the UK. Now last up is the smart button. This is a little magnetic click button that you can use in place of a traditional light switch. The cool thing about this, you can literally have it anywhere at home as it's pre-configured to work with the starter kit. It's got a small non-rechargeable battery inside, and everything has high quality 3M adhesive tape on the back. It's going to be interesting to see how long that battery lasts, but I don't really anticipate that we're going to be using it much, so it would be nice if you could reconfigure it so that you can control other Hue lights that you may have, as that may give me a use for it. So that's everything you get in the box. Let's get on with the setup. Now the first thing you need to do is simply insert the bulbs. Like I said, my ones are just screw fit, so that couldn't be any easier. Next, you need to make sure that all of your light fittings are switched on. Now to the bridge installation. I have all of my home network terminated in a dedicated cabinet, so all you need to do is connect the network cable to the back of the bridge and then to a spare port in your wireless router. We've got Virgin broadband, so the router they provide comes with 4 spare ports as standard. Once you've done that, just plug in the power and you should see a blue power light come on straight away on the front of the bridge. After about 60 seconds, you should get all 3 blue lights on the front of the bridge. Once you've got those, you can go ahead and fire up the Philips Hue app. Like I said, I'm using the iOS app, but the Android app will be almost identical. So the first thing the app is going to do is search for any bridges that it can find on your network. This should take only a few seconds, and then once it's detected the bridge, just press the connect button on the app, and then you need to press the pair button on the actual bridge itself. This is the big button on the front that's got the Philips logo on it. Next, just allow the Hue app to access your HomeKit data, and then you're almost certainly going to need to do an update on the bridge itself. I did. It took a couple of minutes, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about updates towards the end of the video. Here you can agree to the terms and conditions, or you can choose to not share diagnostic data, which is my preference, and then just click Enable. Okay, so we're almost there now, so we just need to enable HomeKit and Siri by clicking Pair Bridge. Then you need to scan the special code that's on the back of the bridge or on the packaging if you've already secured your bridge somewhere and now you can't get to the back of it. Alright, looking good. So now if I go into HomeKit and Siri and then lights, you can see the 3 bulbs all connected, which is good. And once you have your bulbs and your bridge connected, you can start to play around a bit with things. So I'm going to create a room and call it Summer House. Just make sure it includes all 3 lights that we've got. And that's it. Now I can go into that room and turn the lights on and off. How cool is that? So from that point you can just use the Hue app to control the lights and set up timers and lots of other cool things. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more of what you can do in another video, but for now let's jump into the Home app within iOS and see what the HomeKit integration looks like. So here we are, as you can see it's automatically pulled through the summer house room and added the lights and the smart button as items I can control. And if I go into jiggle mode and edit the lights, you can see that all 3 bulbs are included, which is great. So if I wanted to, I could break up that group of lights and remove specific bulbs, as well as add the group to my favourite items, which then shows on the first screen within Home. And one thing that I really like and wasn't expecting was that you can control the brightness of the bulbs. So not the actual colour temperature, but the brightness, which you can even take a step further to create scenes depending on time of day, for example. So in the mornings, the lights will only come on at 30%. And all of that is way more functionality than I would have got if I just fitted standard bulbs. So that's it. All things considered, my initial feeling is I absolutely love the Philips Hue setup. The hardware seems really high quality and hopefully will last a good while just to justify that extra cost. The software and integration, once you've got it set up, is very good, but I did have some frustrations that I definitely wasn't expecting. So firstly, I had at least 6 failed attempts at pairing the bridge. In the end, I had to do a full reboot of all my network equipment, which fixed the issue, but I spent quite a lot of time online trying to find out what could be the cause. As part of my troubleshooting process for that, I also ran a manual update check and installed an update to each bulb and the smart button on top of the bridge update which I showed earlier. And that took around about 4 hours to complete, which wasn't a huge problem as such, but definitely something that I would have expected to manage itself a little bit better for such a premium product. And being my first taste could have put me off for good. But I'm really glad I stuck with it because the end results are fantastic and definitely achieved all the things that I set out to do. Hey Siri. Turn the summer house lights on.
Done.
Turn the summer house lights off.
Okay, the lights are off.
So thanks very much for watching. My name's Carl and this is my first go at this sort of thing, so I really appreciate you taking the time to check it out. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below, and if you'd like to like this video, then that would also be fantastic. Hopefully you really enjoyed it and found some useful information to help you decide if you want to dive into the Hue ecosystem or not. I'm definitely hooked and going to be buying some more bits in the near future, so stay tuned for more videos.